my pal James O'Keefe of OMG Media, O'Keefe Media Group, breaking two stories last week. One about the prince and his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. The other is an interesting one, and it's Pam Bondi talking to a random person in a restaurant, obviously an undercover journalist. Pam Bondi came out 3 days after this video and said what had happened. Now, let's take a listen to O'Keefe for the audience to get a better idea. He can explain it better than I.
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, the existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. FBI's been...
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case. But they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The Attorney General used almost the exact same language as she did with the stranger in the restaurant, language that we shared with her press office.
There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, we hesitated to publish this story, but believe, like we did yesterday, that the public has a right to know. And this one raises serious questions. On one hand, why did our country's highest law enforcement official share this information first not with the American people, but with a self-described nanny at brunch? But more importantly, why was this information held back in the first place? Does this show that a government apparatus is still working behind the scenes to protect powerful people involved in the scandal? Based upon the response to our Epstein story yesterday, it's clear that the American people want answers, and they want accountability.
James O'Keefe, and now that some people frown upon the work that he does, I think it's brilliant because there's no other way to expose somebody than when you catch them off guard like that. He did the right thing. He gave the Department of Justice the opportunity to come out and Pam Bondi to come out that 3 days later and admit what she had said on camera. But why didn't she come out and tell us that earlier? Why did it take James O'Keefe to send in an undercover journalist to get some information out of her? Like, is there still a deep state operation being run? Now, your audience and my audience sometimes gets upset at me, Stephen, that I talk about this and talk about Pam Bondi and give them time. We're giving them time, right? By default, they have all the time in the world. But when you see something like this happening, you start to wonder if we're being deceived.
Yeah, I could see both sides of it. And when I saw that video last week, I was like, okay, I actually think this is good because the wheels of justice move slowly, right? Yeah. But to now find out, okay, wait a minute, one of the reasons it might be going slowly is they've got a bunch of sick, disgusting stuff. And, you know, like human beings have to sit down and watch that in order to build a case. It's just gross. It makes me sick as a father with 3 young kids. At the same time, why not just say, listen, I know everybody wants the Epstein files. They're way more complex. We're just digging into them. One of the things that's going to slow this down is we found tens of thousands of hours of videotape with children. We have to protect these children. And at the same time, we have to build a rock solid case in order to put these sickos in jail. I say send them to El Salvador, but I I'm glad that he put the video out because one, it holds them accountable, and two, it gives me an insight behind the curtain of, wow, okay, this is something really gross and complex. It's going to take time, but they are working on it.
Yeah, I agree with you, but she shouldn't have come out and said they're on my desk, and then the next week she shouldn't have come out and said they're coming out tomorrow, and then bring a bunch of social media influencers there, give them binders of a whole nothing burger. That's back in March. She's now had from March, and this is, I'm trying to explain to the audience, this is where my frustration is for the people who are on the side of Pam saying, you know, she's doing a good job. You had from March, from beginning of March, March 4th, I think is the day, to now May. I mean, we're entering the second week of May here. You had all that time to come out and say, this is what's going on. You know, you don't have to tell us, but, you know, hey, this is where we're at in the process. This is what's happening. But instead, keep us in the dark for months and then wait for James O'Keefe to send in somebody. You said send him to El Salvador. I'd rather send him to Alcatraz and make him swim there for these people who are involved in any of these Epstein crimes. I've said it on the show so many times, Stephen. I'll continue to say it. I have absolutely no tolerance for pedophilia. I have no tolerance for anybody who protects and harbors any sort of pedophilia. To me, that's the worst thing that you can do to somebody, up there with murder. Pedophilia is perhaps, in my opinion, the worst thing the worst possible crime that you could commit. And don't take my word for it. Just ask somebody who's been in jail before what they do to those people once they get into jail. It's frowned upon even by the worst criminals, Stephen, in the world.
So yeah, I was being pretty generous to keep this thing PG, but yeah, people that take advantage of the innocence of little children, I have no problem personally with the death penalty.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with these people having the living crap beat out of them. I have no issue with any of that. In fact, I wish there was a little bit more of it because it would make people think twice before touching a kid. Instead, they go, well, I can probably get away with it, or they'll just, you know, give me a slap on the wrist or whatever. Like, no, I want some capital punishment for these losers.
Yep. They're sick, demented people. Anyone who takes advantage of a minor, a child, you deserve the worst possible prison sentence and death sentence. So when people get angry at me that I go after Pam Bondi or sometimes Kash Patel, just think from my mindset a little bit about what we're protecting and what we're allowing to be protected. That's what I ask from you, the audience. Before we wrap up, I know you're short on time. Trump's acting FEMA director, Cameron Hamilton, was escorted out of the headquarters one day after defying President Trump's plan to abolish the agency during a congressional hearing. Stephen, this is what I voted for: accountability. You don't want to do the job, take your stuff and get the heck out. Yes,
absolutely. I think it's great if people are not doing the job. So every one of these positions serves at the pleasure of the President of the United States.
Yes, sir.
He or she, in this case, a he, comes in with an agenda. Your job is to fulfill that agenda.
Yep.
If you're not doing it, goodbye. See ya. So I'm happy about it.
Yep, no other way to do it. Before we wrap up, Gavin Newsom, I've got a big part of my audience, believe it or not. The two biggest places people watch this show, Stephen, is in New York and California, which is sort of funny because it's two very blue states, but it shows that there's a thirst for truth and there's a thirst for people getting an independent view and allowing them to make the determination of where they stand on their own. Gavin Newsom is going after gas, going after oil in California again. It's being reported by an ABC affiliate. Phillips 66 refinery in LA could lose by the end of this year, which would skyrocket prices above $6, somewhere in the sense of $9 a gallon in the Bay Area. How do people continue to vote for this? Like, once again, like, how do you vote for this? How do you allow this? I know the weather's beautiful and California is the most beautiful state in the country. Okay. But how do you continue to vote for this?
So, unfortunately, the pain is probably going to have to get so bad under Newsom that you have someone like Steve Hilton that comes in and says, we're bringing back Phillips 66. We're bringing back Valero. We're bringing back Conoco. We're bringing back Texaco. We're bringing back whatever the name is, and we're going to drill, baby, drill, and make California affordable again. Like, I just think it's going to have to get really bad. People vote with their wallet, and then the pendulum will swing back the other way.
Yeah, we saw 1 million vote swing in the 2024 election. Let's hope it continues to go that way. You mentioned Steve Hilton. I've been pushing for my buddy Grant Cardone to consider looking at it. A man who knows business very well, a man who's built a few billion-dollar empire on real estate. Anyone's better than this point at Gavin Newsom. Steve, it's always great to have you. Folks, Stephen Gardner, the Stephen Gardner Show on YouTube, Stephen Gardner 1 on YouTube. We recommend you join his show each and every day. He does way more interviews than me. I got to be honest, he's probably one of the few people who works harder than me in this business, and I work pretty damn hard. Steve, you get the last word here. The floor is yours. Whatever you want to sell, whatever you want to pitch, the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I just, I've been very, you said earlier, this is what I voted for. The stuff that Trump is doing, this is what I voted for. The border, getting gas more affordable, bringing down the price of eggs, getting illegal criminals out of my community, getting fraudulent stuff out of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of this. I think the next 100 days are going to be an absolute pleasure to report on as a journalist. I'm just really excited.
Yeah, a great deal of fun. Folks, as I said, the Stephen Gardner Show, Stephen Gardner 1 on YouTube. He's got millions of people watching his show, and it's for a reason. Stephen, come back soon. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you.